Hello and welcome to the second day of Digital Women Awards virtual conference. Digital Women's Award 2020 celebrates talent, entrepreneurship, innovation, and creation by and among women who are building businesses using internet. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the sixth edition of Digital Women's Awards is being held virtually. But this has also given us an opportunity to bring you interesting conversations with dynamic panelists. And this is the second day that we are in of this virtual conference to kickstart the day-long panels. We have today got a fireside chat with Anna Roy, who is the senior advisor at Niti Ayog and has been instrumental in shaping the institution's focus on entrepreneurship. She is also a champion for women in small businesses. She has played a major role in conception of women entrepreneurship platform. Welcome, Anna. Thank you so much for taking out time to join us today.
Thank you, Yamini, and I would like to thank She the People for giving me this opportunity to interact with the ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem, uh, for which we are kind of working towards. So I would like to thank you. Thank you.
So, Anna, let's talk about Women Entrepreneurship Platform, which was launched to create an ecosystem for budding and existing women entrepreneurs, across the country. So, what is the biggest challenge that Niti Ayog has faced in executing this idea?
So before I talk about the challenge, I would really like to spend a few seconds on the inception of the platform
Mhm.
and how it came to being. That will kind of throw a light on what exactly we were aiming to achieve. Now in 2017, Niti Ayog along with the US government hosted the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, and in that summit we had more than 50% of participants were women entrepreneurs from all over the world, and our CEO, who was instrumental, Mr. Amitabh Kant, who was instrumental in he was driving the Indian team for organizing the summit. He, in his interaction with all the women participants there and others also, he realized that one of the biggest challenges that the ecosystem faces in India, at least, is the information asymmetry. And then he announced a cell which he thought would deal with the information asymmetry which presently exists. Now, I was made in charge of that cell, and having no background in that area, I got on to my research and my with my team, and we realized that really we do not need another cell in the government. We realized that so many initiatives were already in place by the government, by private institutes and others, that what we really need is to connect the providers of these initiatives with the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries were not getting the information. So we converted the women entrepreneurship cell into women entrepreneurship platform, and taking advantage of all the success stories of aggregation, we made it an aggregator platform, and a platform which will showcase all the existing initiatives, which will provide a place where the providers of these initiatives can connect with each other and work towards scaling their efforts, because silos are another big problem that we realize exists, where within one organization, say the US embassy, the US government was funding so many incubators and accelerators, but even those were not talking to each other. So they will talk to each other, they'll know about each other, they will kind of collaborate, and also the beneficiaries, who were our major showcase beneficiaries, to tell them about all these initiatives at one place, use technology to do a kind of intelligent matchmaking. So it's not as if you come to the website, or you attend their workshops or master classes and you are flooded with information. That is another problem which we felt was there, that people did not know what do they really need, and then they get really puzzled with so much of information which the digital world provides to them. So going forward, the challenges are what these situations are. First of all, getting partners on board. we had to kind of reach out to many such organizations, and to maintain their interest in, in this initiative has been one of the things which we are kind of working with, getting the beneficiaries on board. It is like a typical chicken and egg. People will say, what do I get on it? But unless they get on the platform, they do not kind of enable us to provide this facility. So uh, and thirdly, I would say, going offline. That is because online is only you reach up to this segment. So these are some of the challenges that we have faced, but they are still young compared to other initiatives. It was set up only, the very beta version, I would say, was released in March 2018. By that accounts, we have, I think, done pretty well for ourselves, because today we have more than 16,000 users. We have more than 30 partners, and we have a lot of success stories to tell about the platform. So challenges, again, as I said, is getting the people interested, and as it is known, unless somebody sees the value in it, they do not want to kind of put that extra effort. And unless they put the extra effort and join hands with them, the value does not get created. So we are trying to grapple with that vicious circle.
I think so many thousands of users is a tremendous achievement in such a short time, Anna. But as you said, people have to see value to be invested in the platform. So, what are the advantages that women entrepreneurs can avail from WEP with access to WEP?
So the value is basically, you don't need to kind of go look for something. We have developed a community page, and we have been very lucky to have partners like Flipkart, and presently we are in talks with Cisco also, who are the IT, like Flipkart is managing one of the best e-marketplaces. So they know how to kind of have a community marketplace kind of a thing. So we are developing a community where we feel the women entrepreneurs, when they form part of the community, they will be able to help each other also. They will be able to showcase ideas. They will the best practices get showcased. We will be having role models. We have joined hands with FICCI to provide a mentorship program, a very, very targeted mentorship program. We are still working the details with FICCI. So they will get a mentorship which is outcome oriented. In Niti, whatever we do, one thing which Mr. Khan tells us, whatever you do, it should be outcome oriented. So we are very conscious about that. So when we say mentoring, it is not as if some, pardon my saying this, but in many cases, mentoring is just for some people to have their names and pictures up there, but nobody says what exactly they contributed and how the beneficiaries benefited really. So we are trying to quantify that, and for that it takes time. So we are bringing in very objective systems, very objective methods to assess the outcome which they get out of it. That takes time. So firstly, mentorship is something which we are aiming at. We will be showcasing role models which will be really guiding force for many other women who want to kind of get into this field. And since we are totally agnostic to the stage of entrepreneurship, so we are right from not entrepreneur but having such aspirations to a fully scaled up entrepreneur. We cover the entire spectrum. So I think that the role model showcasing also helps, mentorship helps, then capacity building, having tools. We have joined hands with Desera and others who are providing tools on the platform, which can be accessed to understand how to start a business, how to maintain a business. And then we have women entrepreneurs themselves who are startups, have joined hands, like CA Expert. During COVID, believe me, they did such a wonderful job on conducting master classes, conducting webinars to explain women the very nitty gritty of finance in a business, especially during the pandemic. So I would say that, there is a lot to expect on the platform. And I would urge women, your viewers, if they are not already on the platform, they should come and register. They should, if we join hands, only then we can achieve the target which we have set for ourselves. It's not something like a government scheme where you announce some fund, you apply and you get it. It is a community initiative that we are aiming at.
So, Anna, when we talk about community initiatives, there's so much. You've said that you're providing women tools and mentorship opportunities. How do you think WEP will impact women entrepreneurship in the longer run?
So that is the important thing, we need to, while long run is important. Again, I would say I have never been a votary of very, very big bang approaches. I always feel that you should take baby steps, show the efficacy of your initiatives, and that will be, the taste of the pudding is really in its eating, and that will be the biggest motivator and the biggest supporter for scaling up the initiative. So we are taking baby steps. In future, we hope that this platform really turns into a marketplace, not only for beneficiaries to avail services, like I said, getting information on financial assistance, on funding, on understanding which are the incubators around them or wherever in the country, to help them in their in developing their business or starting their business. Get information on incubators, on accelerators. So many government schemes are funding incubators, accelerators, but their information is not available at one place. And what exactly are their USPs is also not available. So if I am in one particular field, and if by a press of a button I know that these are the list of incubators who are best suited to my need, I think that is the biggest thing that we can provide. And going forward in the long run, we hope this platform will be used in the same manner, not only by women entrepreneurs, but also by these providers, to get a bigger community for their benefits, and also to showcase their product and be a real marketplace in the truest sense for supply of services as well as for demand.
So, Garima here says that the knowledge of finance for women is absolutely necessary. I think we all
Yes,
agree with what
I,
Garima said.
because of pandemic, my visit to various parts of the country has really slowed down. But earlier, I used to do these, what I used to call them road shows for WEP, and I would go to colleges and incubators and meet women. And even in a metro like Bangalore, the level of information is abysmally low, not only in prospective entrepreneurs, but also functioning and operational entrepreneurs. One lady was there. She said, government should reduce the tax because I'm a startup and I am paying X amount of tax. And she actually had a chartered accountant working for her. And she did not know that, as per government rules, as a startup first 3 years, she doesn't have to pay a tax. So
Hmm.
it is knowledge, and knowledge gives you power. You cannot get the power from a law or anything. I am a big votary of knowledge. If you give knowledge, if you are in some way ease the dissemination of knowledge, that's the biggest support we can provide to the women entrepreneur community. And I always tell them, I was there in one of the other talks where the entrepreneur said, you hire ABC and your work is done. And I disagreed with her. You may be hiring, you need a chartered accountant, you need a lawyer, you need others, but the basic sense of finance you must understand, so that people don't take you for a ride. And this is what the platform aims to provide. You have a basic sense, and then you go and hire a professional, to whom you can, say that, look, I know the business. You are a professional. You go into the nitty gritty. But then I cannot be taken for a ride. I am an informed person. So informed decision making is important for good entrepreneurship, and that is what we are striving at.
Yeah. Since we were speaking about the pandemic, Anna, it has changed approach, not in personal, not just on personal level, but on professional level as well, on entrepreneurship level as well. But do you think that once this pandemic is over, it is more important than ever that policies are put into place to encourage women to take up into entrepreneurship? And why do you think that is?
So, I feel more than policies, again, I would say it is something to do with the behavioral side and something to do about the information. I think there are umpteen policies in place to promote women entrepreneurship. Of course, we could look for more policies, but I think we should divert our attention more to things like giving women power through information and making them more enabled, making them more empowered. That is what we should be looking at. As per the 2019 Mastercard Index of Women Entrepreneurship, India ranks 52nd among 58 countries. And as per the World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Report 2020, India ranks 112 out of 153 in the Global Gender Index. So the global benchmark indicates that there is a lot of ground which we need to cover, and policies are always welcome. But I think it is more to do with behavioral side, for which also we should have targeted initiatives, and our platform also is looking at that. We are, about nudge units and how to address the behavioral aspect, and showcasing role models is one of the initiatives of that entire gamut of various issues that we are dealing with. So I feel no, entrepreneurship for women, and during the pandemic, it showed that how one can work from home, and how one can work. You need not do a 9 to 5 job to kind of meet your ends meet, and it gives you more flexibility. And of course, then we come to the economic side of it. Women who constitute half of the population, their share in the entrepreneurship ecosystem is so low. And pandemic or no pandemic, I think if we do not promote it, we will be really not doing enough to achieve the goals which have been set for ourselves for the economic growth.
True. So let us talk about your personal journey, Anna, for a bit. You have worked in the education sector, and then you left behind that work to become a senior policymaker at Niti Ayog. How did that happen?
So I was a lecturer in Delhi University, and after a year, somehow I did not see myself, spending the rest of my career there. So it takes a very dedicated and motivated person to be educator. I have
Yeah,
all the respect for it. Not it's not everybody's cup of tea, and if you
yeah,
just do it, take it as a job, you are not doing justice either to yourself or to the students to whom you are imparting education. So I take education very seriously, and very early on, like I was only 22 when I started teaching. Very early on, I realized that this is not something I am, made out to do. So that's why I moved on, and I actually, for a very brief time, I joined Terry also. I was there for 8 months, and I realized research is something which is my calling. And by that time, I got into the government service, and I have been very lucky in getting very good opportunities to work in the government, being associated with major reform initiatives. And actually, my background, I have never worked in women related issues or in entrepreneurship. Till recently, I was only focusing on finance issues, project finance, infrastructure reforms. So all my career have been focused on this, and only when in 2017 I was made in charge of the cell, that I became involved in women issues, and I have been since then past few couple of years doing that. And now, of course, you may know that I'm also heading the vertical which deals with data and frontier technology. So I'm also become a more technology person rather than a finance person. So finance, still once in a while something happens. So that has been my journey. I would say I've been very lucky, and I say this very often in many of my conversations, that when I took over the women issues, and it was first time when I was told to work on something, it was Shobna, when she was Shobna Kamini, when she was heading the CII, and she wanted to come out with a gender index and moving the needle, and it was a very exciting time. I was not able to somehow relate to this problem of the gender of this gender gap, because believe it or not, my entire journey I never faced this problem of a gender bias at any time. I was always regarded as an officer, and never somehow felt that because of my gender I was given a task which my male colleagues were given, and like a task which I should have done was given to my male colleagues. I never faced any of those problems. But lately, I am kind of, I was sensitized when we did the research. So today, I would say I'm much more sensitized about this gender gap and other issues. Besides the data, of course, the other stories which we see, they kind of they kind of showcase the problem that we face in the country today. And believe me, when we talk about women in business, it's not restricted to India. I was on a panel with the then Miss Sandhu, who was the then ambassador of Australia to India, and she said our numbers are the same. So it's not an India specific or a developing country specific thing. When you talk about women in business, I think all the countries are facing similar challenges.
That's true. So, amidst the pandemic, also Indian government has been embracing the vocal for local drive. Everybody is rooting for it very enthusiastically. Where do you think women entrepreneurs fit in this?
So, vocal for local is basically giving the necessary support which are homegrown innovators and developers and manufacturers need. Some people try to confuse it with import substitution, which is not the case. Our Honorable Prime Minister never said it is import substitution. And when you talk about import substitution, you go back to those scary days when anything to import would be such a then there is a premium, there is so much of problem when you could not buy something locally which was available globally, and then people coming from abroad were really sought after people. So it's not that, it's not a high cost kind of an inefficient system which import substitution at many times leads to. It is giving the necessary support which our local entrepreneurs need to meet that gap which they may be facing with their international counterparts, which is not allowing them to be competitive. So whether you talk about infrastructure services, power, cost of logistics, cost of finance, these are the things which makes Indian entrepreneur less competitive from his or her international counterpart. So the aim of the government is to address these gaps and to bring them at a level playing field. That
Yes.
is vocal for local, really, in my view. And several steps have been taken, like the production linked incentive is one of the things, one of the major initiatives which has been which has been conceived and now being rolled out, and Mr. Khan has been real he was the one who really kind of helped shape it out. So we are very excited about the PLI scheme. Similarly, addressing the logistic schemes using technology. You must have learned about the technology commons, the technology platforms. So leverage technology to address your logistic issues. Leverage technology to address your value chain. So these are the initiatives which are being taken to bring our local entrepreneurs at a level playing field, and women of course will benefit from all these initiatives, and women have to be promoted because they are the ones, who are who can really make it a local thing, because besides being a substantial part of the population, they are this is also something where they can really show their their caliber and their motivation, and given due support, they are the ones who can really come forward in addressing many of these challenges, as we have seen during the pandemic. And in the Women Transforming India Awards, if you see the awardees, they are, women are the leading innovators today, and
True.
all they need is just a helping hand to overcome some of these disadvantages that they face in scaling.
True. There was a question, I think, how is Niti Ayog helping women access new markets? I think that was a very interesting question. Yes. How is Niti Ayog helping women entrepreneurs access new markets?
So, as I said, Niti Ayog is a think tank.
Yeah.
And what Niti Ayog does is to come out with policy interventions, policy papers, and recommendations. So
Mm-hmm.
for new markets, like WEP is one of the things which is not really a think tank. It goes beyond the think tank, though we are doing a lot of research as under the aegis of WEP. But WEP would be one of the initiatives where we are actually trying to connect women to other markets.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy job, but it is something, like I said, it's an aggregator platform. And we are hoping, and these are very early days for us, we are hoping that women will kind of will make the effort to leverage this platform, because alone we cannot do this. We also need people to be on the platform to say that this is what we are looking for, and take it forward from and then we can go look for partners. We are in talks with uh, international countries as well, through their accelerators, if a platform can be provided for our startups to go and avail those ecosystems, and for their startups to come here. So these are some of the steps which we are taking towards that.
While we are talking about how the government is trying to enable women entrepreneurs, there are a lot of social challenges that women need to overcome even today in the society. On a societal level, to be entrepreneurs, to embrace entrepreneurship full on. How do you think we can help them overcome these social challenges?
As I said, this is not something which you can do either through a workshop, or through one policy scheme, or a single kind of intervention. This is a long run thing, where people have to join hands, the concerned stakeholders have to come to the same table, and these involve addressing behavioral
Yeah.
issues. And in that direction, we are working with the UN. We are
Hmm.
working on a gender index. So the gender index will actually see how where it will showcase the various factors. I would not like to rank states on it, but uh, the gender index is aimed at identify the factors which can promote, or which is leading to a dragging down of the position of women um, in various spheres. Secondly, we are also working with the UN on coming out with a report, which is a pan India report on addressing many of these things. So these are all work in progress. And the third thing which we are working on is with the University of Chicago to look at a working on a nudge unit. Now, there also we would like to say work with an organization like TIS or somebody and join hands. Our aim is not to do everything in house. We will just be the catalyst, we will just be the enablers where we get the stakeholders at one place who discuss and come out with recommendations. We'll be the enablers. We don't want to take the lead role of doing everything. We have a full-fledged ministry who are doing a wonderful job, and all we are doing is making the dots meet so that the steps which are being taken by the government, the beneficiaries actually know about them and avail of those services.
Yeah. So I've been told that we are running out of time. So my final question to you would be like the India Internet Report of 2019 suggests that in India there are 258 million male internet users, while women only make up of one half of this number as internet users. While since WEP is an online platform, you have been speaking about how you are taking it offline as well. But it is imperative that the internet gap is bridged for women entrepreneurs. How do you think we can close this gap?
So it will be two parts. One is infrastructure, and
Hmm.
second is just kind of explaining to kind of addressing again. I come back to the information part of it. So organizations like Facebook and all, they have these schemes where they go, Google, Facebook, big IT companies, and also our own organizations, the civil societies and all, they have these focused initiatives. But I think technology adoption is so easy. So the moment we overcome the infrastructure gap, I think this should not be a challenge.
That's great. Thank you, Anna, for joining us today. It was lovely chatting with you. I think it was a very insightful conversation. I learned a lot about now, not just WEP as a platform, but how we can take women entrepreneurial participation to the next level. Viewers, please stay tuned. We have got a lineup of really interesting conversations. Thank you, Anna, once again.
Thank you. I would request all your listeners to go on our website. I saw many questions, or most of them will get answered once they visit our website. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
please do visit their website and leave your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.